Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
There's been a lot of talk about the upcoming Olympics in Rio. And with all the issues out there, I wanted to go over some of the things that people are discussing. First of all, let's start with this. You guys may recall this about a month or so ago. Officers saying welcome to hell as people exited the planes and came into the city doing their pre-Olympic trials or whatever they needed to do. And we see Rio de Janeiro has cut budgets across the board, delaying officers' salaries, halting patrols, and fueling worries about safety at the world premier sporting event. And the article goes on to document how emergency responders, your police officers, your firefighters have delayed salaries. They're telling them to bench their vehicles in an effort to save gas, and all around just not providing the safest of environments. And it reminded me of the article we saw in Detroit a few years ago where police were telling people to enter the city at their own risk. They say this is a warlike type of situation and visitors are unsafe in the city of Detroit. At least they're warning people about this. They're saying whether it's budget cuts or whatever else, they don't feel like they can do an adequate job of protecting you. But back to Rio, the article points out that while the local officers are not being paid or having their salaries benched or whatever else, the article reports that some 85,000 police and soldiers, roughly twice the security contingent at the London Olympics, are to be deployed. But it does point out that in a city of 12 million people, where armed muggings, stray bullets, and turf wars between heavily armed drug gangs are routine, you still have a number of safety concerns. And as we're talking about Rio, there's a new article that's out today, and it's documenting how a lot of times you have sex traffickers who try to dovetail on these events, whether it's a Super Bowl or the Olympics or whatever else. And of course, I don't blame the sports organization. I'm saying people take advantage of those situations. 8 girls rescued from sex trafficking ring during pre-Olympic sweep in Rio. And to round things out, one of the things that I always thought was interesting is the Olympic venue, something that they build exclusively for the Olympics, but oftentimes these places end up derelict after the festivities have ended. And I have this article from the Business Insider, what abandoned Olympic venues from around the world look like today. And if you go through it, they have many different pictures and things that you could look at. There are other articles out there as well, detailing that basically after everything was done, said and done, the thing said derelict, and people brought the question, well, how good was it? How profitable was it for us to host the Olympics? Of course, you got, tourism, you got people going to the restaurants and to the hotels and stuff like that, but to use money to build these big facilities and other things, especially in lieu of paying your first responders, like in the case in Rio de Janeiro, it has many people scratching their heads as to was it really worth it in the long term. Now, of course, I think the Olympics can be a great event. Gives people a sense of national pride, athleticism, people accomplishing their goals, all that warm and fuzzy stuff. But really, you have to wonder as well, was it really worth it at the end of the day? In some cases, I'm sure for some countries, in some areas, it's a great financial boost. In other places, maybe not so much. You can find more reports on Infowars.com.
We have the best weapons against death out there at the lowest prices, waiting for you to lovingly plant them and lovingly grow them and share them with others. So please join us at InfoWarsShop.com at the InfoWars Seed Center.